It's true. Blake Lively won her motion to dismiss in court against Justin Baldoni, and the judge threw out his defamation lawsuit. But is this it? Does it end with us, or does it end in the courtroom? We have lots to get into. Baldoni is now speaking out, and he says things are far from over. So I hope you're ready for it. Let's get into it, baby. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. Hi guys, apologies for being late today. I was on Fox 5 New York. I was live on the show today. I'll be sure to post a clip on YouTube so that you can watch it once they send it over to us. I posted a little clip that we caught on Instagram, so you can go to @NoFilter with Zack to watch that little snippet. But I was breaking down the latest in the Baldoni versus Lively legal drama. Blake Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, Leslie Sloan, her publicist, their case, the New York Times, they have been dismissed from Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit. The judge has squashed all of his claims. However, he has allowed 4 of those claims to be brought back with an amended complaint. We have a statement from Brian Friedman. We have a statement from Blake Lively. We have so much going on. Judy says, I just got my Justice for Justin shirt yesterday. Love it. Great quality. Thank you, Judy. For those of you guys that have not ordered a Justice for Justin shirt, I just wanted to let you guys know that this week until Sunday, I guess until Sunday. Screw it. Until Sunday. And free agent got the Zack Peter is my lawyer shirt. Yes. So specifically, the Justice for Justin shirts, I am donating 100% of my proceeds to nomore.org, which is Justin Baldoni's charity of choice. It supports survivors of DV and SV. So if you want to support, as people, purchase them with the initial batch, we restock them. And I was running a charity campaign to support Home Life Community, which supports individuals on autism, where I was donating 50% of all merch proceeds. So all of my proceeds that I get from merch sales until June 15th, I'm donating to Home Life Community to support individuals with autism like my brother. It's in honor of my birthday. My birthday is this weekend, June 15th. However, with Justice for Justin shirts specifically, I'm going to donate 100% of those proceeds this week. So if you order a Justice for Justin shirt this week, 100% of those proceeds will go to No More. And if you order anything else in the merch shop, 50% of those proceeds will be going to Home Life Community. So either way, regardless of what you purchase, you will be supporting a good cause. It's crazy. It's wild. Yes, we do ship to Europe, Donna. We have international shipping. So you can go to nofiltermerch.com, or there's a direct link in the description below where you can purchase. Laura says, thank you for donating for autism. My son has autism. Yes, of course. My brother has autism. It's a cause that's very important to me. So I felt like in honor of my birthday, why not raise some money for Home Life Community? And then this debacle happened. So we will see. But get your Justice for Justin shirts now at nofiltermerch.com. And as I have mentioned before, be sure to get your tickets. Dallas, Phoenix, Philly, Toronto, Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles. Come on out to nofilterlive.com. That's nofilterlive.com. You can get your tickets. We kick things off in Dallas July 11th, and we wrap things up in Los Angeles August 10th. So you have until then to get into one of the shows. For everyone that purchases tickets to the shows this week, you'll be entered to win a pre-show drink with me. So before the show, you and I will get to have some yummy tea time. I'll get to bring you backstage. You'll have a drink with me. We'll chat a little bit before the festivities kick off. I love you guys. I want to spend time with you. I want to meet you. I want to hang out with you. I want to meet all of the Zack Pack in person. Liz says, I purchased 2 VIPs for Phoenix. Yes, I'm excited. Andy Signori from Popcorn Planet, he is going to be in my Phoenix show. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be yummy. So come on down, guys. Get your tickets at nofilterlive.com. Okay. What do we want to there's so much we have to get into. I guess let's start with Blake Lively's statement. She issued a new statement. She was spotted out and about living her best life because that's just who she is and that's just what she does. She's like, "Oh my god, yes, I won. I'm a winner. I'm working late because I'm a winner." So she was out and about. She was at some gala last night. I don't even really care. I will get into what the latest judge ruling means. Obviously, it was a live reaction that we did yesterday, and updates came since that episode was recorded and released. So we'll dive into that even further, what that means, what happens next, now that they each have statements that they are issuing, announcing their wins. But to start things off, we have Blake Lively. She's out celebrating. She was at the first outing. Yeah, what was it? Speaks Out. Where was she at though? Is Blake Lively is in full bloom. It's so wild how the press is already twisting this. It was a Chanel event in New York. Interesting. Well, cute vibe, girl. Good luck. But even sicker part is the statement that she issued, which to me was just so performative and false and phony, and it's unfortunate. Okay. So, Blake Lively's statement reads, "Last week, I stood proudly along 19 organizations united in defending women's rights to speak up for their safety." Mind you, I don't think their amicus briefs swayed the judge based off of the reason for his ruling. So bringing them into it was just a performative PR shtick. Okay. Blake continues by saying, "I'm more resolved than ever to continue to stand for every woman's rights to have a voice in protecting themselves, including their safety, their integrity, their dignity, and their story." I'm sorry, their integrity and their dignity and their story? Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see how much integrity and dignity she has left after all of this. There are protections out there. Check out some of the incredible organizations below for resources and information. With love and gratitude for the many who stood by me, many of who I know, many of who I don't, but I will never stop appreciating or advocating for you. B. And then she lists and tags all the organizations that wrote amicus briefs. It's interesting that she's just like, there are protections out there. Well, that's how she basically won this motion to dismiss, was with the litigation protection that ultimately came to save her. Isis says the judge wants to stay away from 47.1. Well, I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but that's Blake Lively's statement. It's again gross that she's like trying to make this out to be like she's doing this for women. Go women. Oh my God, women. Whatever, girl, whatever. But we also have a statement from Brian Friedman on behalf of Justin Baldoni. So, from Camp Baldoni, the statement reads, "Miss Lively and her team's predictable declaration of victory is false. So let us be clear about the latest ruling. While the court dismissed the defamation related claims, the court has invited us to amend 4 out of the 7 claims against Miss Lively, which will showcase additional evidence and refined allegations. This case is about false accusations of sexual harassment and retaliation in a non-existent smear campaign, which Miss Lively's own team conveniently describes as untraceable because they cannot prove what never happened. Most importantly, Miss Lively's own claims are no truer today than they were yesterday. And with the facts on our side, we march forward with the same confidence that we had when Miss Lively and her cohorts initiated this battle, and look forward to her forthcoming deposition, which I will be taking. We are grateful for the organic show of support from the public and the dedication of the internet sleuth community for who continue to cover the case with discernment and integrity." That's us. We're the internet sleuth community. So, yeah, he is not giving up just yet. He's fighting, he's going for it. He's standing strong. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so basically let's recap what went down in court this week. So, the judge did dismiss Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively. As Brian Friedman stated, there are still additional claims. Now, these claims are did I lose it? Damn it. I think I lost it. Intentional interference, torturous interference claim. And the second one, he can also amend for his claims against, so it's torturous interference and breach of implied covenant. So essentially an agreement that we made. So basically the extortion claims, they can still prove that Blake Lively tried to essentially extort them. Obviously, there's a different definition for this type of extortion. He said that there wasn't exact extortion because there was no like actual threat or monetary or physical, thing that was being held above their head. I disagree. I think the film and how she refused to participate in it was a really big one, but the judge says that these were actually just really strong claims of negotiation, or negotiation tactics, which, okay, whatever. But basically, the reason her defamation claims were dismissed are not because she's telling the truth. Let's be very clear about this. The reason that her claims were or her claims are protected, and they're protected because she filed these claims in a CRD complaint. When you file your allegations in a civil complaint or in a lawsuit, then they're essentially protected under what is considered litigation privilege. And so litigation privilege protects statements that are made during legal proceedings from being the basis of a defamation lawsuit. So I know Brian Friedman was trying to fight this by saying, well, she gave this information to the New York Times and had it published. And in addition to that, she handed them over thousands of documents. As the New York Times claimed, there were thousands of documents that were turned over to the New York Times that technically would not be considered part of the litigation privilege, to my understanding, because the only things that are privileged are the allegations that are made within the actual CRD complaint. Now, Blake Lively has not made any allegations outside of the CRD complaint. I'm assuming that's why she hasn't done any interviews. And so, because it's in a legal proceeding, it's written in a legal proceeding, a court filing, that's what protects it from being. It protects it from being fought against as defamation. So it's not because she's telling the truth. It's not because she's not telling the truth. Her case has yet to be proven. Her case is still ongoing. So he dismissed most of Baldoni's lawsuit. However, his lawsuit can still stand. And then when it comes to Blake Lively, her harassment lawsuit has not yet been dismissed. Baldoni did file a motion to be dismissed from her lawsuit. I don't know if I'm confident in him getting dismissed from that, but then again, I wasn't confident that she would win this motion to dismiss, but the judge made it solely based on the fact that the defamatory statements are protected. So whether the statements are true or false, you are protected if they are in court proceedings. So as long as there's an ongoing situation that's happening in court, which in this case it was her CRD complaint, which conveniently was filed in California, even though her lawsuit took place in New York. I want to remind everybody, did not give Wayfair the opportunity to investigate her claims during production. She did not invoke SAG to investigate her claims, which is what they're designed to do. That's her rep. They are supposed to protect her on set. She did not have them investigate. When she went to the California Civil Rights Department, the CRD, and filed her civil complaint there, they offered to investigate. She declined that investigation. She decided to move forward with leaking her CRD complaint in the New York Times. So it was all very thought out. I said yesterday that this is her taking a page out of Amber Heard's book, right? And also, mind you, there's a third party independent investigation that's ongoing right now, that Blake Lively is refusing to participate in. So she took a page out of Amber Heard's book. She saw how Amber Heard lost her defamation case. She saw that Amber Heard did not have litigation protection. She needed some sort of protection. So if she were to make statements that are false, she could not be held accountable for them. And so that's essentially the dangerous precedent that has now been set, is anybody can come forth with false harassment allegations as long as they do it in the way that Blake Lively does. They may likely never have to be held accountable for that, but they most certainly cannot be sued for defamation. Blake Lively was very smart about how she played this, or at least her legal team was very smart with how they advised her with playing this. Not only that, but remember, we had the Van Zandt lawsuit, the Doe defendants. It was an anonymous lawsuit that she ended up withdrawing after she used the shady subpoena to get the text messages from Stephanie Jones, behind Baldoni's back, behind Jennifer Abel's back, behind Melissa Nathan's back. She obtained those messages and then used those messages in her CRD complaint. Still has not activated that CRD complaint to file a lawsuit in California. She instead filed her lawsuit in New York. It's all very thought out. The law is now a weapon. Rosa, the law has always been a weapon. The law has always been a weapon if you know how to use it, right? Think of it like, people that cheat on their taxes, right? There are certain loopholes, people may think that it's immoral, but it's technically legal. So just because something is legal doesn't necessarily make it moral. You can still be legally correct and morally bankrupt at the same time, as we're seeing with Blake Lively. So to be very clear, her allegations have not been proven. She has not provided evidence, and she has fought against, at this point, 4 possible investigations that could have proven her claims to be correct. Yet she didn't. So, um, Louise says, "Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be actors." I mean, it's not even just actors. This is anybody. Anybody. Oh, Keith is here. I remember discussing the strategy of filing the CRD complaint in California with you months ago, Zach. I think you knew they were up to something. Yeah, I mean, I called it from the beginning. Thank you, Keith. I called it from the beginning. I mean, but it's not just the CRD complaint. You go back to the Van Zandt lawsuit, the way that they used the shady subpoena, and then they withdrew the lawsuit once they had the text messages, went to the CRD, filed the CRD, which immediately granted her the litigation privilege. And then she went and gave that to the New York Times. The New York Times published it publicly. And mind you, CRD complaints are confidential filings, but she was very smart. She never went on record in the New York Times article because that's how Amber Heard got caught. Amber Heard wrote an op ed, and I believe it was the Washington Post. So the Post was protected, but Amber Heard was not protected. So Blake Lively put in that additional level of protection by filing it in a CRD complaint, which isn't even a formal lawsuit yet. The lawsuit wasn't filed until Baldoni filed his lawsuit against the New York Times for defamation first. That was always an uphill battle. I don't think many people had faith in that, but it's so layered. And I think, people are saying, well, Friedman must have known these things. He must have known that this was a losing battle going into it with defamation. Yes and no. I think he knew that this was likely a reality, and that's probably why we now see him and his legal tactics that were used as PR tactics, right? The Taylor Swift extortion claims, the leaking, or not even leaking, but just handing the footage from the dancing montage to the Daily Mail for them to publish all 3 uncut takes. I think he was doing those things because he knew that it was an uphill battle in court, but he was playing the press game. He was playing the court of public opinion, and he was winning it because he actually provided evidence. To this day, Blake Lively has not provided evidence, but if anything, we've seen her be dishonest. We've seen her misrepresent things, such as the pornographic birthing video. She described it as pornographic. We then saw the video. Jamie Heath posted the video for Mother's Day on his public Instagram account. Instagram did not waive that. They did not flag that or waive it for copy or for community guideline infractions. They did what they did, and it's just we've seen Blake Lively misrepresent things, which again, I think Brian Friedman had a really good statement. Maybe it was on the Megyn Kelly show, or he was on a podcast, and he said, listen, whether Blake Lively feels she was harassed or not is one thing, but she has to meet the definition for what harassment means legally. That criteria has to be met in order for that allegation to stand legally. So we'll have to see how this continues to play out. According to Baldoni and Brian Friedman's statement today, it's far from over. We read the statement. We read Blake's statement. Let's get into it a little bit more and what this means for the movement overall. But first, a quick message from this week's sponsors. Up first, The Wellness Company. You probably heard that RFK Jr., known for his sharp mind and relentless energy on the campaign trail, is taking methylene blue to stay focused, energized, and mentally resilient. Now you can experience those same benefits with Recharge from The Wellness Company. This doctor-formulated nutraceutical is the first to combine methylene blue with urolithin A, creating a unique formula designed to optimize mitochondrial function, improve energy, and elevate cognitive performance. Methylene blue crosses the blood-brain barrier to enhance memory, focus, and executive function by increasing ATP production, the true fuel of our cells. It also works as a potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, helping to protect against aging and cellular damage. So if you're looking for a real mental and physical edge, Recharge delivers. Get 15% off plus free shipping. Head to twc.health/nofilter and use code NOFILTER. That's twc.health/nofilter and use promo code NOFILTER for 15% off plus free shipping. Feel the difference. Think clearer. Recharge. All right, I know we've been breaking down all that yummy celebrity legal drama, but I'm pretty sure there are a few PR teams that are hoping that I'll take a break from investigating the drama this summer. But guess what? It ain't gonna happen. I got my Pair eyewear and I am locked and loaded. It takes an eagle's eye to read all these receipts. Pair eyewear has tons of budget friendly shapes and styles that don't compromise style or quality. Plus, you get 15% off when you go to paireyewear.com and use code NOFILTER. No shade. Okay, maybe a little shade. But even when I need some shade, I need to block out the haters and block out the sun outside. I've got these Pair sun tops. Look at this. I could just snap it on and I go from indoor to outdoor, indoor to outdoor. And what I love is that they have a variety of different frames. So if I want to switch up my style, I can do it anytime. Pair has sun tops. They have new tinted lens tops. Also really great. They complement any looks that you can take it from casual to chic, whatever floats your boat this summer. Change it up anytime you'd like with all of Pair's collabs and collections. They have Disney, the Met, Marvel, Star Wars, NBA, NHL if you like hockey. They have premium collections, Suntop Sparkle, classic collections, so many options. Find your perfect frame from home with their virtual try-on option, which is also really cool. You can upload, see your face, try them on online, see how it looks on you before ever making the purchase. It's perfect. I love it. And there's so many great options. You can customize it so that it fits you and you feel like you can mix it up depending on your mood for the day. Keep your eagle eyes looking sharp. Go to paireyewear.com and use code NOFILTER for 15% off your first pair. And support the show by mentioning that No Filter with Zack Peter sent you in your post-checkout survey. That's Pair, P-A-I-R, eyewear.com, code NOFILTER. All right, let's talk about Liz Plank and Judge Liman, because a lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings about both of them. First up, Liz Plank has been spotted leaving comments. There was a post on Instagram where one woman commented, or I don't know if this is a woman or a man, looks like a man, in the profile picture, Naz.h.maya, M-I-A-H, Naz.h.maya, wrote, "I just saw the funniest boy problem get dismissed by a federal judge in New York, LOL." To which Liz Plank responded, LMFAOOO. So, she seems to be standing by Blake Lively. Interesting. This one is probably the biggest shocker to me, that she hosted a podcast with Baldoni for the longest time, was fine being friends with him for the longest time. And then when her relationship with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds was threatened, she seemed to have turned on him very quickly. And I guess it's not easy to reverse that, because then you would look like a flip flopper. So we see you, Liz Plank. Judge Liman. A lot of people are saying that they think Judge Liman is biased or bought off. They claim that he had a brother in Hollywood that used to work with Blake Lively. Let's talk about the Judge Liman of it all, because I disagree. I don't think he was biased. I don't think he was paid off. I don't think he's secretly working for Team Blake. I think he followed the law, and unfortunately, the law was on her side. The law, she used the law to her benefit. She used it to protect herself, and at the end of the day, she won. It was an unfortunate move, but it's a move that, ultimately gave her this win temporarily. Now, whether she's going to win in the courtroom, whether or not her lawsuit is going to continue, I don't know. I know I'm kind of thinking she was trying to get his lawsuit dismissed. So I'm assuming that she's going to try to maybe drop her lawsuit now, because at this point, the damage is done. The crazy Blake bots already believe her. They think Baldoni is a predator. He has no way of proving his innocence. So I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see how he plays this out. If he's not able to win legally, I mean, listen, look at Johnny Depp. He fought that for years. He took the beating. He lied down on the ground and waited until the time was right, and he came out swinging. With Blake Lively, we at least still have a trial set for March. Um, yeah, we'll see. It's just it's unfortunate. I think the more we learn about, I like listen, I worked for, or I didn't work for Blake, but I know people that worked for Blake Lively. I know people that know Blake Lively personally and her family, and they've never had nice things to say for years. I always just thought these are like, oh, Hollywood diva stories like Ellen. We'd heard the stories about Ellen forever. But then when you actually see things like this brought to light, and you see the layers of deception and deceit, regardless if you want to say that there's smart legal strategies, sure, they are smart legal strategies, but there's a level of um morality, and I understand morality is obviously subjective. I understand, some attorneys may think that these are really brilliant legal moves, and Blake Lively was just really smart and good for her, but also at the end of the day, it's just like, yeah, but like the fact that she can do this and get away with it for now, but the fact that she can get away with it, Well, no, I just it's unfortunate. Gwen says, "I don't think the judge is bad, but there are lots of biases." I disagree. I don't think, and I will stand on that 10 toes down. I don't think Judge Lyman is biased at all. I don't think he cares about Blake Lively at all. You also have to remember Brian Friedman was playing this out in the press at the beginning. Judge Lyman made it very clear that he didn't want that to be the case. I mean, this could be the motivation behind it, is he knew that they were likely going to win their motion to dismiss. Granted, Friedman, I believe, was fighting for, the discovery that proves that there was communication between Blake's team and the New York Times, and those communications are not privileged. The only statements that are privileged are the statements that were made in the CRD complaint. So I think that was the crack that Brian Friedman was hoping that he would be able to crawl through in order to, show that there was some sort of communication. But as of right now, the New York Times doesn't have to say that Blake Lively was ever their source because they're protected by their press privileges. They don't have to disclose their sources. They don't have to be, part of this at all if they don't want to. I mean, or granted, they'll likely be brought in throughout the discovery phase, but in terms of being a defendant in the lawsuit from Baldoni, but they are very much protected by the privileges that the press has. So they're protected. And then because they don't have to disclose that Blake Lively was their source and they don't have to turn over any of that information, Blake Lively was protected because she never officially made any statements on the record outside of the CRD complaint. And everything that she said in the CRD complaint, whether it was true or false, let's be clear, whether any of the claims that she made in the CRD complaint are true or false, they are still protected from defamation. Interesting how this is going to affect Jed Wallace's case now. But I don't believe that I don't believe that the judge is biased. I think he went with the ruling that was the most logical ruling according to the law. It feels like an unfair ruling, but at the end of the day, our perception of what we think is fair is subjective, and the law is the law. And if you can find a way to bend the law to fit your narrative, it's possible. And I think Blake Lively just showed people how to do that. And she just showed men and women how to make false allegations and how to get away with it at the end of the day. She ruined a man's life. Someone needs to be something needs to be done about it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's far from over. Does that mean the claims can still be used during the trial toward his other arguments? He just can't be awarded compensation for them as it relates to defamation. So this is a very big question, and there are a lot of pieces to it. But so the evidence that's drug up in discovery can still be used against Blake Lively. Now, the hard part is a lot of that discovery was in pursuit of proving their defamation claims, but now they have to prove um, torturous interference and breach of implied covenant. So they essentially have to prove that she tried to extort them. Should that other evidence be relevant, then they can work it in somehow with their own lawsuit against her. But then when it comes to her lawsuit against them, they can use that evidence to prove that her claims are false. They can also prove, that her claims are false by continuing to fight to prove that there was malice behind that. And I'm hoping, I don't know, I guess we would have to talk to an attorney about this, but I'm hoping that if he's able to, one, show that there was malice, and two, be able to fight her harassment allegations, I'm wondering if then that would open him up to fighting for some sort of damages, because then he would be able to prove that her claims were false. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, this was always going to be a record-breaking case because it's gonna affect so many different layers. This is gonna affect Me Too laws and protections for harassment victims. So we'll have to wait and see. The law isn't yeah, J Train says the law isn't an exact science. The judge leaned towards Blake, no question about it. Yeah, he leaned towards there. It's not an exact science. He did lean towards Blake, but it's because, I mean, listen, that's a very technical, and like we said, she was always playing the game on technicality. She was always looking for the loopholes that she can jump through the law. It was a game of legal play, not a game of truth and evidence. If she had truth and evidence, she would have used that to prove her case. So we'll see. What about witness tampering with Taylor Swift and Taylor's blackmail? Taylor would have to um, pursue something against Blake, which I think at this point is unlikely, and I highly doubt that there will be any criminal charges filed against Blake Lively for that. Baldoni and his team can probably make that argument in court to, in some way, prove whatever. I mean, again, I'm curious to see what their legal strategy is going to be. Everything is still technically on the table. Has Friedman said anything? Yes, we broke down his statement at the top of the show. Yeah. Elena says 4 out of 7 claims still stand. This isn't over. Yeah, these are kind of smaller claims that he's certainly not going to get awarded 400 million in damages because again, these are smaller claims. Again, I'm very curious to see what Friedman's legal strategy plane this is going to be moving forward. Peapod says, question, if she dismisses her case before Baldoni responds with his second amended complaint, does that mean his amended complaint would be moot? No, because his lawsuit and her lawsuit are two completely different lawsuits. Her lawsuit is a case of harassment. His lawsuit was primarily a case of defamation. So he still has a chance to amend his second complaint and litigate that against her. Her lawsuit is something entirely different. These are two separate lawsuits that they're battling out against each other in. I asked, Crystal says, I asked two attorneys about her dropping the case, and they said it's unlikely because she now has the upper hand. Mm, I don't know if I agree with her having the upper hand as much as I can see that she has the temporary win, right? It's like think of it like we're working up to the Super Bowl. Trial is the Super Bowl. She won a big game, a very, crucial game. So maybe in the moment she kind of feels like she has the upper hand because she has the winning streak, but season's far from done. We have a lot more games to play, and we'll see where this goes. If she drops her lawsuit, can he put out his evidence to the public? Well, his evidence, right? I believe so. Very similar to how I mean, listen, Wayfair owns all of the raw footage. Wayfair has all of that. So if they want to prove any of her claims were false, they can leak that, but they can just give the footage over to the press. He can then go on a press tour. And as long as he's not doing anything that feels retaliatory, like he can still play the public game, start a podcast, tell his story. Army Hammer did Hammer Time with Army Hammer, you know? So there are ways where you can still get your story out there. I think he was fighting a game of justice. I don't think he cares about public perception as much as he wants justice done. And unfortunately, I think it's a much bigger game at play, right? Like it is about justice. It's about making sure that people can't make false allegations of harassment and get away with them, or at least not have to be held accountable for them. So we'll see. I don't think the brothers' connection to Blake Lively from 2 years ago is valid. I think that I declare is moot. And then him having investments in what people are like, oh, he has investments in Apple, and Apple was making a movie with Ryan Reynolds. And again, moot. Objection, Your Honor, relevance. Though these things are key details, if you dig through everybody's history and parties that they were at and events that they attended, all of that, you can find a thread of connection. What is it? 5 degrees from Kevin Costner. So yeah. Donna says the two lawyers said the claims against Reynolds were solid and still the judge dismissed it. That's what I was the most shocked about, was the Reynolds claims getting dismissed. Maybe this is where you have an argument, and I'm willing to listen, an argument of bias, because Reynolds made these allegations, but the argument was that the allegations were made as a result of Blake Lively's legal complaint and that he believed his wife. That to me, I mean, Leslie Sloan, especially since James Fatuka, the reporter from the Daily Mail, filed his declaration, I was like, "Ooh, that really helps Leslie Sloan's case to get dismissed." The New York Times always had a chance out, but I always thought that the Ryan Reynolds piece was the strongest case of defamation because he made a statement to his agents. He told them to fire Baldoni. They cut Baldoni from their client roster, and then we had Ari Emanuel go on stage and literally say that he's ride or die for Blake and Ryan. And then you see people like Nick Vial who are like clapping emojis and they're like commenting on it. And I get it. He's really dense and he has, hard comprehension skills, but this is far from over. Yeah. Zack, on the Flaw channel, somebody had shared information that the judge had been involved in a legal case with a conflict of interest with a family member who had been suing a bank. Listen, again, guys, we can remember when they were saying that Blake Lively, her organization was givelively.org and that had ties and blah blah, and that was like a theory that people were running with. It wasn't true. Like, again, we need to stop at the conspiracy theories. They hurt us more than they help the case at the end of the day. At this point, until there's very clear evidence of corruption from the judge and there's a payout that was made to him, we can't fall into those conspiracy theories. It only makes our side look crazy, and then it only further validates the Blake bots that want to believe women, believe victims, right? Hashtag me too. So let's just be very mindful and not put that information. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. There we go. Yes. And again, if you dig into anybody's past and their history, you're gonna find that. Okay. Judy says the injustice of this is rather frustrating. I'm gonna need to de-stress for a while. Pray to God that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds don't get away with this in the hope that my son has a safer future. Listen, Baldoni, I don't think is giving up. Regardless, if he can't fight this out legally, he needs to fight this out publicly, and he has the public on his side. Like I said, he has. We've seen the birthing video. I mean, listen, they put together the whole website with the timeline and everything. Brian Friedman is not going to lay down and play dad. They're going to come back swinging, and we just have to stay, beholden to the truth, and hope that the truth finds its way to us at the end of the day. It's going to be a messy battle, but and this is why it's so important, because so many people are fighting this game of um half truths and what they think that this means based off of Lively's statement and how she thinks that she came out victorious at the end of the day. But like, here's a perfect example. People keep sending me these stupid DMs, like this one guy. He said, "So you're still claiming that her claims were false, even though a judge concluded that she wasn't at fault? Okay, get out your handy dandy notebooks, get a little pencil out, maybe erase it so that if you misspell a word because your comprehension is so low, let me break it down for you. The judge did not conclude that Blake Lively wasn't at fault. Well, technically, she cannot be held liable for defamation. Okay." Which is why I responded to this gentleman and I said, "Not true. The judge ruled on defamation. He claims because she filed her statements, though defamatory, or I should say, though potentially defamatory, in a court filing. Therefore, they are privileged and she cannot face defamation claims for them, even if she is not telling the truth." Mind you, she has avoided three, potentially four, right? Wayfair, SAG, CRD, and now the current third party investigation that's ongoing that she's refusing to participate in. She, avoided independent investigations into her claims and has provided no evidence to support her claims. Her harassment case is still ongoing. The judge just dismissed the defamation case again because of the litigation privilege, not because her statements are true. So that's not me being delusional. That's me saying her case has not yet been proven, which is why her lawsuit is still ongoing. It's still pending. Do I think she'll drop her lawsuit? I mean, she can, or she can try at least. We'll see what happens with that, though. Let's see. Zack, the two lawyers yesterday suggested that interesting changes to 47.1 in introducing a third party who will evaluate the case before a claim, or having the claim approved by the judge before filing. Say what? The two lawyers suggested interesting changes to 47.1 in introducing a third party who will evaluate the case before claim, or having the claim approved by a judge before filing. Not entirely sure what that means. I'll probably have to watch I think I know what you mean. That there are ways. I think my understanding is you're saying that the asked two lawyers said that there may be potential ways around 47.1, which is the Me Too law. Even if one was to presume that the CRD complaint was factual, the SH claims would be so weak it makes the excuse that Ryan believed Blake nearly moot. They rely on allegations of an undetectable smear campaign. I know, that's the craziest part. Untraceable is what they say. It's an untraceable, meaning, so then again, I've said it before. If it's untraceable, how are you going to trace it? What are you going to get? You're going to get a ruler and be like, "Ooh, let me trace the campaign that doesn't fucking exist." How do you prove an irreplaceable campaign? Carol says, "Just bought my Never With Teeth shirt for the Dallas show as a birthday present for myself." Blake Lively can go scratch so angry. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. Guys, you can order any of my being that Carol gave us this lovely shout out, you can order any of the merch right now. Justice for Justin shirts are here. Those I'm donating 100% of the proceeds this week to the No More organization. And then everything else in the merch store, whether it's a Zactivated tank, a Zack Pack hoodie, Never with Teeth t shirts, Zach Peters, My Lawyer t shirts, Do I Look Like I Just Fell Out of a Coconut Tree t shirts, all of these on sale now with 50% of my merch proceeds going to Home Life Community in honor of my birthday on June 15th to support individuals with autism like my brother Ethan. So go get your merch right now. Nofiltermerch.com. Laura says my coconut tree shirt will be here tomorrow. Yay! But the line 1-800 so yummy is hilarious. Yeah, Zach Peters, my lawyer, 1-800 so yummy. Laura Walt says the shirts are very soft for those who want to know the material. Yes, they are very soft. They're very comfy. They're yummy. SoCal says, "Oh my god, I love the coconut tree shirt." Yes, the shirts are so comfy. Thank you, Laura Rains. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. That's the Liz Plank. That's the Baldoni statement. That's the Lively statement. Oh yeah, yeah. We do ship internationally, so you can go place your orders. Carol says Geminis are not the ones to mess with. Unite. I know that's right. I know that's right. Um, Ghislaine says, honestly, I don't understand the media that publishes an article saying that Ryan Reynolds said that Justin is a predator is not defamation. Well, I mean, that was determined by a judge. That I think is shocking. That to me was the strongest claim because again, you literally had Ari Emanuel go on stage. But I guess it's related back to the CRD complaint, and he believed what was he's claiming that this was based off of what he believed from the CRD complaint. So yeah. Nicole says, I wore my coconut shirt to school the other day. My third graders loved it. They bought one. Judy says, I'm getting the Zach Peters, my lawyer shirt next. Still loving the Justice for Justin shirt. The material is amazing. As that one person said, well worth the money. Thank you guys. And listen, the shirts are only 30 bucks. I feel like other people charge so much more they charge like 40 bucks. What's the statement, Zach? Start at the top of the show and you can get the full statements, both from Blake and from Baldoni's team. I know that we are all sad, but Justin just won a battle, but Blake Lively just won a battle. Justin Baldoni will win the war, so cheer up, soldiers. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. It felt like it was over, but it's not quite over yet. What about Stephanie Jones? That's the other one. That one's still ongoing. I think they have a strong case against Stephanie Jones, and if they can get Stephanie Jones to fall, then they can still fight Blake Lively of it all. Listen, it can be infuriating. It can feel defeating, but it's not. Julie says she just got her justice for Justin. Yay. Is Stephanie Jones still liable? We're about to find out. The Stephanie Jones lawsuit is a separate piece and a separate lawsuit altogether. We will see. We will definitely see where this goes from here. And hopefully it goes in, the direction of something viable and sustainable for us when it comes to, making sure people are protected. I want to make sure that people are safe and protected and real victims are not harmed in the process of all of these shenanigans. I think that's everything with the Lively and the Baldoni of it all. I think that's where is a wrap. Is a wrap. Is a wrap. But we did get a cute new photo from none other than Julie Chrisley. A new photo is posted on Instagram. Julie is no longer rocking her gray roots or her brunette hair. She's gotten her hair done. She's blonde again since she and husband Todd Chrisley were released from prison earlier this month following a pardon from President Trump. So she looks great. Yeah. I mean, I think she looks cute. She's like glam, get my face done. Mir says, now that we know that the judge tends to grant dismissals, Friedman will probably file a motion to dismiss, but he can use the sham lawsuit as a reason. I believe he already filed a motion to dismiss. We'll see if that gets amended at all and if that helps his case. Nuna says, this federal case worries me about the Diddy case. His lawyers will do the same. There's nothing anyone can do. Yeah, listen, OJ got off. Didn't make him innocent. That's why I tweeted that yesterday. Yeah, and people got mad at me. I posted on Threads and on X. This one. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. It's because it seems like Blake Lively is the new OJ Simpson. You know, it's Missy says Blake is OJ. I mean, well, that's just my point that like just because you get a legal win doesn't necessarily mean that you are um it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in the right necessarily, you know? It just means you have a good legal defense. I honestly can't watch any of the podcasts about this. I'm so disgusted. Hang in there. Hang in there, guys. It's not over yet. It is not over by a long shot. Dorothy says, "It seems to me the fact that all of this gamesmanship is even possible just shows the whole legal system needs to be revamped. It won't be, but that's my feeling." Well, listen, Blake Lively just gave people the playbook on how to utilize the legal system to her advantage. You know, that's the crazy part. Lisa says, "I'm worried about the Karen Reed and Diddy cases. I hear that the Karen Reed trial is not looking too hot. And the Diddy trial, from what we've seen so far, wasn't looking too hot. The prosecution rested their case. The defense is now up. We'll see what I think we have 2 weeks left in Diddy. I think we have about a week left in Karen Reed. So we'll see where this goes. It's very interesting. Zach looks what? Zach looks good. What looks good? The legal system is owned by money. Yes, I mean, yeah, if you have enough money to have good attorneys that can find the loopholes, then yeah, you can be good. The summer of injustice. Well, we just have to make sure we keep fighting for justice. Oh yeah, Jared Leto has now been accused. I saw that. Missy says, "You look good. I look good. Do I not normally look good? Maybe it's the haircut, the Botox, the Invisalign. I don't know. You tell me what looks so yummy." Karen Reed will go up the river and Diddy will get off because that's the way it works. Well, we have to have faith, guys. We have to have faith. The blue looks so good on. Yeah, blue's always been my color. All these women groups still support this liar. Listen, a lot of them are operating from a place of blind loyalty. You know, every time I've done any interviews in the press or anything, I've the number one question they ask me when it comes to Blake and Baldoni is, am I on team Blake or am I on team Baldoni? And I always say I'm on team the truth. And wherever the truth takes us is the direction that I will go in. And that's just where I'm at with it, you know? And so far the truth seems to be taking us into the side of Baldoni. You know, Blake Lively, I know people want to believe that she's a victim, but we have to remember in our country, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. So we have to wait to see this play out. She's not a victim as much as she's an accuser at this point. And unfortunately, we've seen how she misrepresents the truth. We've seen it play out a number of times with the allegations that she's made. So we'll see. Case is far from over. We will see. Sri Sheedy says if Lively was not obligated to promote the film, according to the judge, Lively was definitely not obligated to edit the film and do the free work. Sure. The good thing is these trials don't impact our daily lives. Things will be okay. Amber Robinson says, I ordered the coconut tree earlier this week. Can't wait for it. Yay. Guys, get your merch. Grab your friends. Wear your florals. Brigitte says 47.1 makes the accused guilty before declared innocent. I know. But again, that's why, however this case turns out, will ultimately be record breaking. Stephania says, I never believed in supporting other women based only on the fact that we have the same gender. Well, I don't know. Gender these days seems to be a hot topic. What is gender? Nobody knows anymore. What is a woman? I need a Black Justice for Justin shirt. We only have white at the moment. Sorry. I guess we can consider. Listen, before we consider, everybody has like a specialty option. I'm like, you guys have to first show that there's demand in sales with one thing before you ask for a specialty piece of the next thing. Vilo says, you're awesome, Zach. Thank you for helping us feel better. Listen, I was a little bummed about this yesterday. I felt defeated yesterday, but listen, it's gonna like it's not over yet. We have to stay strong because you can only imagine how defeated Baldoni must feel right now. And Blake going and gloating about this victory for her, which yes, technically it is a victory for her. We'll give her that. We can call it a win, right? Balls and strikes. You got to call a win when it's a win, but it's a temporary win because I believe justice will be done at the end of the day. Look at what do you call it? Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. That took years to play out. Depp had to lay down and take the beating for years and get ostracized by Hollywood and fired by Disney in order for him to be able to prove his case. Crystal says the only thing that gets me out of bed is Zach and Donna so depressed and deflated, losing so much up. Listen, I'll be honest with you guys too. I was feeling very defeated. I was feeling very stressed and overwhelmed. I live here in Los Angeles. I live in downtown Los Angeles specifically. If you guys are watching the news, it's gotten really chaotic and crazy. For the last 2 nights, we've had nonstop helicopters and sirens going off, and it's just been nonstop chaos. And as I told you, my Sullivan, he's not doing too well. We're waiting for his lab results to make sure, we can find out what's going on with him. He hasn't gotten any better. He hasn't gotten any worse, but he hasn't gotten any better, and that's concerning and alarming. He's been this way since Saturday, so I'm hoping that we get some answers. He has me very stressed and worried and scared, and I just want my baby to be okay. So it's been, and then getting the Baldoni news. It's been a lot. It's been overwhelming. There's a ton of. I'm stressed with the tour that's coming up in a few weeks. It's a lot. We're all kind of collectively in this, but we just have to breathe, have faith, trust that everything is going to be okay, and know that it will be. We will get through this together. Regardless, we'll show up here every day, and yeah, we'll be good. Billy says, "Do you live near Little Tokyo?" I don't live near Little Tokyo, thankfully, Billy. Thank you. I mean, we are still in downtown, but we're on the opposite side of downtown. But all night long, we hear helicopters and sirens getting called out to Little Tokyo as things continue to escalate. With these riots, it's crazy. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts, and at the same time, I don't. Just kind of exhausted, and you know, it's interesting to watch how things are playing out. I feel like I came on this podcast back in November. And I felt like I had a very honest and vulnerable conversation about how we got into the position that we got into, especially following last year's election. I'm like, this is the chain of events that brought us here. And now I see so many of those chains of events repeating themselves again. Um, I lived in downtown. I lived on Spring Street in 2020. I watched all of that unfold, and now it's like it's happening all over again, and I don't get how we're not learning our lesson. Um, there's a way to fight for justice, and there's a way to dismantle the cause altogether, and unfortunately, I think people are operating from a place of emotion versus a place of activism or a place of seeking justice. It's more about, let me react irrationally and emotionally and impulsively, and let me do things that unfortunately are gonna end up backfiring, as I thought I did a really good job of trying to explain following last year's election, and clearly not enough people were willing to listen. And so, unfortunately, I think all of the people that were silent last year and silently placed their votes, I think are silently watching everything that's going on. And I think that we're going to continue to head in that direction. So, yeah, I haven't talked about it too much. I remember talking about it in 2020 when I was watching it happen outside my windows, and I was watching people throw those like bottle bombs at our windows, or watching them get the lime scooters and try to bust in our front doors. And I remember trying to talk about it then, and a lot of people yelled at me. A lot of people got mad at me. I had to delete my social media for a little bit, and I, you know, just thought I was documenting what was happening right in front of me, as I do in my life every day. But there are certain narratives you're not allowed to talk about, because when you talk about them, people get angry at you. And unfortunately, it just sometimes it's like, is it worth it? And I guess that's kind of how we're maybe feeling with the Baldoni stuff right now. It's like, is it worth it to even speak about something that feels important to me in this moment? And sometimes you get pushback. I know I have a show that's called No Filter. I know I often have no filter and give zero shits about what anybody thinks or has to say about me. But sometimes, especially in weeks like this, it is very defeating and exhausting, and feels a little hopeless. But we will stay hopeful. We will stay strong. We will continue to move in the direction of what is right. And we will continue to fight for people that need to be fought for. and not listen to the Blake Lively's of the world. Yeah, we just thank you. Sharon says prayers for you and Sully. Thank you. He's stressed me out the most. He's such a brave boy, and he has been very strong these past several days, and so I'm very happy that he's acting as normal as can be, but I still am very worried and stressed from, oh my god, last night I'm on this new fitness plan, and I hired a new coach that's working with me one on one. And so I've been doing some new training and on a new meal plan, and I'm not drinking right now unless like I have an event or something. I'm like trying to peel back my drinking. And so yesterday I was just like, oh my god, I'm so anxious. Oh my god, there's so much going on. So I decided to go to the weed store, and I went and I got gummies, and then I got beverages and that have THC in them. And so I had a gummy because I was like, oh, 5 milligrams. I take 5 milligram gummies all the time. As you Soul CBD, who's a sponsor of the show, I was like, yeah, I'm always like a pop a little 5 milligram gummy. And then sometimes I would have a little drink because the drinks only have 2 milligrams. And so I was like, oh, that's literally at most 5 milligrams. That's less than 10. I've taken 10 before. I've rode the buzz, whatever. I guess the anxiety in my body did not like the THC in my body. So I tried to go to bed early again because it was just very loud outside. I tried to go to bed early, and then like at 10 o'clock or 10:30, 11, 12. I don't even remember what time it is. I just remember waking up in a panic attack and be like, oh my God, what's going on with my body? I took too much. I took too much weed, which I didn't even think was that much. It was only 7 milligrams. But I was like, oh my, I was going crazy. I was like, my body, I had like a panic attack, and I was like, oh my God, I was paranoid. I was like, oh no, this is way too much for me. Um, what a fun time. Sorry. That was my crazy night, and then I had to, like, go, and I was on the internet, and I was, like, Googling, I was like, "How do can you overdose on weed? How do you da 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 da?" And it's like, "Okay," and they're like, "Listen, you just have to write it out for 30 minutes to an hour," and I was like, "Okay, 30 minutes to an hour. I just have to write it out. I just have to deal with this," but I was like my head was spinning. It was, like, so cuckoo crazy. So cuckoo crazy. Mildly Mercurial said, I smoked so much cannabis yesterday just to calm myself down this mess, and I have a senior cat who seems to be sick. Yeah. Zach, if that happens again, take CBD. You greened out. Well, it was CBD with THC. Indica weed or indica is good for settling you down. I think I normally do an indica strain or like a cross, but I think the drinks that I had maybe had the other one, the sativa. And so I think the combination of the two just was like, ooh, it was a little unbalanced for me. It was a little unbalanced for me. Alexia said Zach needs to go back to school to be a lawyer. He'd be an amazing. I've thought about it. I've thought about you know, going the Kim Kardashian route now that she's officially graduated from her program. Because well, in here in California, you don't have to go to law school if you do. I think it's like a 4 or 5 year apprenticeship. You can still get your law license as long as you pass the bar and do the apprenticeship. Then I believe you can do it. Oh, indica means into couch. That's what I was hoping for. I was like, this will help me sleep, and it did not. I was like in a panic, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, my head is spinning. What is going on? So it's, it's crazy. It's crazy. Laura says, do it. You'd be a good lawyer. Well, I already have T-shirts that say Zach Peter is my lawyer. Judy says, I've had CBD before. My body didn't take to it well. I became like a robot. I had no emotions when it wore off. My anxiety shot through the roof. Never again. Yeah, never with teeth. So it was a little crazy. I was a little like, "Ooh, this is not what I was expecting." I was like, "I don't like this. Make it stop. Make it stop." Keith says in California, you can apprentice to be a lawyer. Zach would be. See, Keith, maybe I'll apprentice at your law firm. I still have to check out the Ask Two Lawyers video from yesterday. I think they had on Lauren from Court of Random Opinion and the Tilted Lawyer, I believe correctly. But yeah, I think that's all I've got for you. You've gotta purchase the 1-800 number now. Should I keep that? 1-800 so yummy. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. Be sure to, if you haven't done so yet, get your tickets to the Zactivated tour. I'm coming to Dallas, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Toronto, Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles. Kicks off July 11th. We are officially at the 1-month countdown mark. So get your tickets now. Grab your friends, wear your florals, come on out. It's going to be a live podcast taping. We have so many fun guests in store. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited to meet you guys. I'm excited to take shots with you guys, break down tea together. It's going to be fun. We have special guests in store from Netflix's Chloe Veach to Jenny McCarthy. We have Leanne Locken from The Real Housewives of Dallas. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you can, come on down, go to nofilterlive.com. We got a number of special guests that are going to be in my live shows on tour with me. Jenny McCarthy, Donna Bowling from Daily Dose of Donna, and Andy Signori from Popcorn Planet, Chloe Veach from Netflix, Leanne Locken from The Real Housewives of Dallas, the Sidley Twins, Chef Stu, the cast of Vanderpump Villa. We have Real Housewives of New Jersey's Jackie Goldschneider. We have Christy Cook from Spill Sesh, Andy Lawani from The Pop Report, Louis Levanti. We have Steele and Shooter from Bros and Shows, Giorgio Says, Paula M, Colonel Kurtz, and more. So be sure to come on down. Grab your friends, wear your florals. I will see you there. All right. And if you want to, you can get your Justice for Justin shirts this week. 100% of my proceeds from the Justice for Justin t-shirts will be donated to nomore.org. Last time we raised over $6,000. I think we sent a check of $6,600 to the No More organization. So come on down. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Michelle says, did Dorinda get the boot from the live tour? I don't know. We are waiting to hear back. I believe there's a rumor that she likely may be rejoining this summer's season of The Traitors. I don't know when that goes into production or when she'll have to travel out for that, but we're trying to work on that as well. It was a yes, and now it's kind of a pending. So talent is always subject to change, but I promise every show will still be lots and lots of fun. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Yay, look at that. Jasmine just said, just bought my Justice for Justin shirt. So lovely that you're donating the proceeds to autism in honor of your brother. Thanks for everything. Thank you. All right, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Talk to you tomorrow. Ciao for now. Bye.